It's Eve 2020, Tuesday, June 2nd. I am Meteorol. Let's talk about EVE Online. Looking at the Tranquility server, which is the Western server for EVE Online. Noticing a big hump here starting in March. Went up to the 40s, 40,000 players at one time. It seems to have dipped with DDoS. Bounced right back, even a stronger way, and then seems to have slumped a little bit since then. Kind of interesting. I'm trying to map out what that is. Is it content in the game, or is it circumstances for people? Nonetheless, right now we're at, let's actually refresh this, just about 30,000 players online, 29,690. And that should peak in about 3-4 hours. It's peaking in the mid-30s, so again, it's kind of interesting because that was up there in the low 40s for a while. Okay, moving into statistics here with Dotlan. We're looking at the most violent regions in 24 hours. I've been thinking about this, by the way. Why do we always look at the most violent regions? And it's really just some of the few statistics that we have from third-party developers that have created these ways of looking at information coming out of EVE Online. Like, how do we measure EVE Online? Is it conflict? Is that the only way? That seems inadequate. So try to brainstorm some other ways of looking at EVE Online, trying to say like what the game is doing, not just the conflict side of things. Okay. Now, Dotlan statistics, most violent regions. Let's talk about Empire region because the big story there is domain. I guess invasions are happening mostly in domain, if not exclusively. So those numbers are higher. And in first place for Empire region is domain with 2,473. The Forge in second place with 1,977. And in third place, Lone Trek, 2,216 ships destroyed in the last 24 hours. In nullsec, the numbers are much smaller. First place is Eansmother, 596 ships destroyed. Second place, Catch, 555 ships. In third place, Veil of the Silent with 601 ships, but 312 pods. As opposed to second place Catch, which had 396 pods. So the pods put Catch into second place. Most violent systems in nullsec are i6-SN, i6-SYN in cache, J-ZYS Z, Eansmother, comes in second place. Sorry, by the way, I6 had 340 ships destroyed, and JTAC-Z, I can't get away from tax, sorry, I tried. 194 ships destroyed, and LXQ and Ethereum Reach, 138 ships destroyed. Those areas right now are kind of minor conflict zones, maybe even a proxy wars between greater powers, but caches, they are fighting over territory in cache, as well as Eansmother, I believe. Here's again, the story is most violent regions in lowsec for the last 24 hours. Tama tops the list, 384. iHUB and Blackrise, 382. And then Prism from Blackrise, 248. Let me correct myself. I keep saying the story is in lowsec. It's not. It's in highsec. So, and it continues to be in the last 3 hours. 139 ships were destroyed in Raravas. That's a Triglavian invasion zone. But in the last 24 hours, they've racked up 1,335 ships destroyed. 520 pods destroyed. That's not a number you see normally in highsec. Pods usually don't get destroyed. But because the security status of Raravas is essentially low sec, you'll see that podding will go up because you don't have to worry about the security hit that you would take for doing it. And on the routing side of things, Cobalt Edge, Aquarius, and Oasa, they're pretty much the top 5. QTAC V, they did 33,593 NPC ships destroyed. In Cobalt Edge, and also in Cobalt Edge, 5ED TAC 4E, that's 27,576. And in third place, BX TAC VEX in Aquarius, 27,202. And that wraps up the most violent regions. Looking at some of the SOV changes, taking a peek over here. Goonswarm dropped 390. Let's see where those 390 came from. That's not much for them at all. They're 30,000. They're 20 or 100 times bigger than that loss, I believe. But I'm curious if that was a corporation or just attrition. They have hundreds of corporations as well. Their strategy, actually, strategy is to have many corporations, unlike most alliances. No, it looks like that 300 number came out of, well, no, it's a big purge here of corporations. But yeah, they must have thrown out. I'm not reading that. Here it is. Oh no, that's just about 5 corporations left Goonswarm, and of them only 26 or so were from 2 corporations. The rest, so 390. I think that number comes from just people falling out or being kicked out of Goonswarm from various places. Don't know why or anything like that. Okay, looking at other memberships, Pandemic Horde picks up 367. No, that's not people going from Goonswarm to Horde that I know of. That doesn't look like it. Wormhole Society picks up 201. And Dangerous Voltage loses 106 members. Brave Collective picked up 161 members. Sorry, that number's 162 for Dangerous Voltage. They've lost. And Brave picked up 161. That looks interesting. Oof, this group, Dangerous Voltage, looks like it imploded back down to 1 member. So was at one point a 200 member alliance, and it's down to, it's basically collapsed. But let's see where the people have gone. Tactical Supremacy, Legion of X Death. Yeah, looks like this last Dangerous Corp just left. Dangerous Voltage Corp. And that was, well, they lost a lot of people this month. This month and recently, so yeah, they lost all. That doesn't total their amount, though. That's funny. Now, people must have been leaving these corporations. All right, so Legion of XF, yeah, it just looks like they just split up. So I don't know what happened there. If it was, they dropped corpse, they dropped people. They didn't drop sovereignty, though. And this is all on Wicked Creek. So Dangerous Voltage. All right, take a quick peek at the Killboards. This is really where a lot of the interest comes lately, because there's been some crazy things happening here. Right now we're looking at anything over 10 billion, which is pretty high standard, but there's enough that we can just go with this instead of going down to anything over 5 billion. Looking at the notes real quick. I'm sorry, the chat. I want to say hello to everyone. It was one guy and his alts. I'm not sure what that refers to. Hello, good morning. Okay, let's look at kills. Over 10 billion now. We got a Zenitra on the board here that belonged to Siege Green. Also killed by Siege Green. Ah, there's always a story behind that. Let's see if all the... Yeah, Siege Green nuked it. They nuked it. Okay, so this Zenitra belonged to Jahihiyara. And they took it out in faction war territory for Minmatar and Amar and Sassid. So I wonder what happened there. So Siege Green, again, is a Korean alliance. An Erebus was destroyed that belonged to PIBC. That's a Pan-Intergalactic Business Community. They are all from Fraternity server. That's a Chinese server. So it's a Chinese group. They reconstituted as Army of Mango in Tranquility server. So that's what we know them as. And they formed the alliance PIBC, which is a name they pulled from their Serenity server. So they got taken out by Vivian Marikady from Shadow Cartel. I guess got the top damage on that. Let's see if that was all Shadow Cartel. It's a big takedown for Shadow. It's a smaller group, but Shadow Cartel is very capable, or has been historically. And it does look like it was, along with some alts, probably it was Shadow Cartel that took it out with Dreads. So that happened in Verge Vendor, of all places. Hovenon. And I wonder what PIBC was doing way up there, because their home is far away from there. They're in the south, and Verge Vendor is in the center of the map. So Rataru was destroyed in Blackrise for... Normally we don't see these, but this one was 10 billion, so it might have had some nice rigs on it. That was destroyed in Blackrise in Onamon. It was taken out by Bronski Bad End. So that's what happened in the last few hours here on June 2nd. But on June 1st, we didn't get to cover a lot of the stuff yesterday very well. Goonswarm Federation lost a Hal and Fountain in system KVN TAC 36. It was taken out by Snuffed Out. We know that Goonswarm and Snuff are in conflict at this time in that area. Let's see, an NPC corporation, Hegemon, we'll just call it Hegemon, lost an obelisk in the Citadel in Sivala to Goonswarm. They ganked it. It came up to 10 billion. Obelisk is actually a freighter, so it's only 1 billion, and this kill was 10.17 billion, so it definitely had a cargo that we need to look at. See if it was any one thing that was destroyed, or if it was just a massive amount of cargo that it was moving. You see a ton of pyrite. That's only 68 million worth. Yeah, this is a giant collection of a lot of miscellaneous things. So it's probably somebody moving things for themselves or their courtmates. Pretty pricey. Get some 8-type multi-spectrum shield hardener here. That thing went for about over 600 million. Let's see, you got some ships in there. This is just a big inventory that was taken out. And it goes on and on and on and on. I want to get to the bottom to read out the total was, yeah, 8.4 billion in inventory destroyed by Goonswarm that ganked this guy. And they, I think I said it, but In case I didn't, they got him in the Citadel. Yes. All right, Forizsar that belonged to Pew Bears was taken out in J space. That's wormhole space. Singularity Syndicate took that out, and I wonder if that's an eviction, because structures in wormholes blowing up means that homes are being blown up.
That is an eviction.
Was it?
That's Pew Bears is that's Ashtarothi's people. That was his his wormhole.
I didn't know he was called Pew Bears. I thought it was the system was called Atlantis, but not. Okay. Oh, you know, he got taken out by Singularity Syndicate. I don't think Singularity Syndicate's that big, but I guess they couldn't defend themselves.
It was a to put it bluntly, this was an attack directly towards Ash.
Was it a contract kill, or were these guys?
I don't know if it was entirely contract, but I know that there was backing from Pen is out.
They don't necessarily like him in known space, right? So Ashtarothi's has a large group. So Ashtaroth, let's describe Ashtarothi's people who may not know him. I think most people who watch the show do, but he's the CEO of a big group.
Malevolent Row Industries. It's a new player-friendly corp in HiSec.
What's the actual alliance, and what's the corporation? It's got a lot of different names.
Let me take a look.
Anyway, Ashtarothi, his wormhole division was Pew Bears, and that got taken out. I'd heard that was under attack, but that was more than a week ago, so I'm surprised.
The corporation is Malevolent Row Industries, Malrow, and the alliance is Convocation of Empyrean.
Right. They do a lot of work in the Triglavian area.
Absolutely. And so within within Convocation of Empyreans, you have multiple people. So you have Malrow, which is the main corp, and then you have a whole bunch of like tertiary corps that are just for very specific things. But Pew Bears works with the Convocation. So yeah, this was their kind of extent into wormhole space.
Got it. All right, we have a message here from Shifty55. I think he says that was my Retaru, and that's the one we just talked about in Black Rise that was destroyed. And the only thing he lost in it were guns and some fittings and stuff. So he had evacuated his stuff from that structure before it was destroyed. And thanks for that information, by the way. So we also have Pew Bears losing a Forizsar, as we're talking about right now. That belongs to Ashtarothi's group, and they got taken out by Singularity Syndicate, which is either an offshoot or associated with Pen is. And Pen is out, and they have a grudge against him, or maybe it's a friendly rivalry, don't know. Okay, moving on to Red Alliance losing an ARC. That's a jump freighter in Metropolis in the system, LOSEC system of Odebine. That was taken out by Pandemic Horde. Jeff Taylor on that one. The Pandemic Horde, though, lost something in Kalevala Expanse. It's an Aeon. That's a super capital for the Amari. It is system HPV TAC RJ. That was taken out by Dark Shines of the Initiative and his fleet. Then finally, Brothers of Tengra, BOT as they're known, it's a renting group from Pandemic Legion, was lost an arc as well in the Spire system Y8K TAC 5B. That was taken out by Brave Collection, Ariance Solo, with looks like 13 other people. So that's what was dropped there. Now, reaching back a few more hours into May 30th, there is some stuff that we didn't get to cover last time or cover very well. And that was in J space, you had Panic Attic lose a Forizsar to Boris Johnson's Love Children. I got to read these names before I say them out loud. Anyway, that's not so bad. I've said worse, right? Like I won't go back to recent history, but I've said worse.
Yep.
That's amazing, though.
Yeah, it's part of the show. Okay, so here's the 3 Zenitras. They're not all in a row, but they're in different regions, which is amazing. They're in different regions. This is the same guy, Epidemic Otomea from Unfazed Pestilence, and he loses 3 Zenitras in 3 different regions in the same day. And of course, because they're in 3 different regions, he's losing them to 3 different groups. So the first one happens in Cinque Zone. He gets taken out by Poquito from Shadow Cartel and 28 others. Then, an hour and a half later, he loses one in the Forge to Darkside from with 15 other people. And then about 2 hours or 3 hours after that, maybe 3 hours, he loses a 3rd Zenitra in Cor Azor in the system of Ami to White Sky. So I don't think anyone is that. I think he was taking them out to provide some content for people. I think he intended to lose them. Let's see how they're. Well, they all come to about, let's see, the first one was 23 billion that was killed in Cinque Zone. The second one was 17 billion, was killed in the Forge. And then the third one was about 17 billion. So these are like more or less affordable, but the ship itself is still kind of rare. Yeah, this is not even fit. So I think he was just providing a target. This one was fit, but it was fit to travel. I don't even know. Yeah, this was fit to travel and jump, and it had no weaponry. So he was just running into to let people shoot something. This first one was fit though. This was fit like a dreadnought might have been. It had some proper, and this was probably the more expensive one that was taken out in sync. So he bought 2 more, didn't fit them, and rammed them out into space to essentially get destroyed. Yeah, so that's what's going on. The first one, proper kill. The second 2, he was jumping out into the crowd to be killed. So that's what happened there. In Fountain, this is on May 30th. You also had Goon Swarm Federation taking out. Goon Federation lost a Marshal in Fountain in the system of WMH TAC SO. Again, snuffed out, takes out that Marshal. And Bright Side of Death lost a Wyvern. That's super capital for Kaldaris. In Scalding Pass in QPTT TAC F, taken out by Brave Collection, Alonzo Callup, and 68 others. So a fleet got onto him. And I think we covered this, but Red Frog lost a freighter, or jump freighter, which is kind of rare to code. But we covered that a few days ago. That one I do remember. Looks like Inner Hell was kind of busy in Legacy space. They took something out in Cobalt Edge. They took out a Nyx, and then a little while later they took out a Hell in Esoteria. So that was a few days ago. All right, so we're caught up on those Killboards. Let's actually change this tracker to 5 billion or more and see if that provides a little more color on things. Yeah, there's Triumvirate. They lost a structure recently. I found out that structure. Let's actually hit their Killboard. Yeah, they lost a Forizsar not that long ago. Triumvirate's been around a long time. It's come and gone. It's a notable PvP alliance. They were really hot 3 years ago. And again, they have a giant legacy of PvP, but 3 years ago they reemerged in a significant way, and were playing even a hard-nosed, old-school way. And then their leader became absent, and that's when they usually go dormant. But when he comes back, they usually, spring up again. Well, it was probably right there in the first kills. But anyway, one of these kills, I think it was the one taken out by Volta. The structure wasn't installed yet. It was just dropped, and it was picked off before it could actually anchor and online. So it wasn't something that was rooted out. It was something that never took hold. That's triumvirate. So Goonswarm got one of their freighters, just under 10 billion, and that was in Rio. So Rio again is, that is Kalevala Expanse. Rio we call it, but it's R10 or R10 TAC GN, and that's the home system for Horde. Yeah, and then we just see some freighters here, like Lone Trek losing a Tyra. That's what is that? Deep space transport? No, it's only an industrial. I should have known that. I didn't. Or I don't remember Tyra. I never used it.
I believe the Tyra is the one that has the inertia modifier. I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, that lost about 6 billion in cargo, and that's just an industrial ship. Caldari industrials are not industrials I fly unless it's a freighter, so I don't usually bother with the industrials. But yeah, and then another industrial that went down in Sync Liaison was an Okator, or Akator, and that's about the same size as that Tyra that went down.
No, that is a DST.
Yeah, the Okator is actually a Tech 2 industrial transport ship, a deep space transport ship, and it has a 60,000 M3 fleet cargo hold.
M3 is volume, but 60,000 is huge cargo, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot, yeah.
60,000 fleet cargo hold and 3,300 normal cargo hold, if I'm not mistaken.
This guy, Master Lefiscus from Scope, that's an NPC corporation. He wasn't really fit for tank. He was fit to move and to escape. He had a cloak. He had warp core stabilizers that let him slip away from being tackled. He had inertial stabilizers that spin his ship around quickly so he can get into warp quicker. And a micro warp drive. So he was built to move, not for...
Yeah, that's a warp cloak. That's a warp cloak trick, yeah. Or, yeah, a warp cloak trick.
Yeah, looks like he was carrying a bunch of minerals.
Oof.
That is... Well, he had some drones in there, and that's some of the pricier stuff, but yeah. Not a bunch of minerals. We had 2, 3, 4 piles of isogen, tritanium, pyrite, mexelon. But his real loss was in Republic Fleet Warriors, Berserkers, and a Republic Fleet Medium Cap Battery. That's what added up to about 6.5 billion. So we say, I think he redeemed some LP. Yeah, he scouts for stuff like that. Okay. Those are the kills for EVE Online that were interesting in the last day or two. Yesterday, because the CSM election started, we switched over to CSM and to Triglavian stuff right away. So we didn't have a chance to go through the kill board, so we went back, and that's why that was an extended view of the kills. As far as iHUBs, they're in danger at this time. We have a couple in Cloud Ring belonging to Valor Accords. I believe Valor Accords are a faction war group. Scalding Pass, we have a couple other iHUBs one belonging to Vindictive in DE TAC, and one, this has got to be reported by now, but we'll call it L Monopoly. I won't say it again. It's already a soundboard. K7 TAC and Scalding Pass. So you also have Veil of the Silent Deepwater Hooligans. They have iHUB and H TAC U CD. That's going up in a day or so. Oh, and also in Scalding Pass, a Shurkan in PTAC N has an iHUB that has a timer on it. Okay, there are some patch notes today. These are just, we weren't expecting anything, but there is some new audio in there. So new space and combat music added for Invasion Chapter 3. New music added for Zero Space. New music added for Wormhole Space. So if you're out there and listening, see if they hear some new things out there. It's music, not just sound effects. And then the user interface changed, added a HUD icon to show when under effects of an Edencom Sino jammer. That's very specific. And then after that, there's just some fixes that they did for sound and gameplay. And I don't know if any of these fixes are a big deal. They look very specific when I looked at them earlier. CCP had a great live video of the star the Trigs are harvesting. Looks like it's slowly changing color. Yeah, let's have a look at that. I think, let me grab that for you. It's going from the color blue to, purple. And it eventually will end up either purple or red. And we've been seeing some pictures posted on Talking in Station's Discord. Of course, there's a lot of people talking in this, so it gets buried relatively quick. And this is why we ask links to be put in links channel, so they don't get buried so fast and they can be found. But you know, people like to share stuff in the public channel, EVE Online. I'm lagging hard, so I don't know if I'll be able to get to it. Here it is. No. Boy, I don't know if you've been watching, but Discord has become a very fun place. You have a bunch of memes in there, a bunch of people making art, putting it in there. People showing, here they are, screenshots. Let me get this to you so you guys can all see it as well. This is actually a GIF. So I can just bring this up here. There you go. That's animation of a sun changing from blue to red. You can see it's mostly red now because this has been going on for a few days. And it is unlike anything we have seen in EVE Online. So this is a new, we're in a new space here. All right, and here is what it looks like as it's changing. All right, that's a bad cropping from the picture, not from me, but we call that lumen. It's in a stage 2, I think now, out of, I think, a possible 3 stages. Everything will come in 3s with Triglavians, but there's they call it luminality, but essentially the system is being taken over, and remember that used to be a blue star, and it looks definitely like it's getting its life force sucked out of it by this little structure down here. And the animation is really cool. You can see the something coming from the sun. It could be anything that CCP says it is, like gas or essence or whatever. So yeah, pretty serious. That is Raravas, if I'm not mistaken, because that is one of the blue suns it's captured that's actually advanced past into low-sec security status. And it's probably the one that's most advanced out of all of them. So this is probably what we're seeing. That animation is really cool. That's I have to admit. All right. So more on that this week as we find out more secrets of the invasions and what they're doing to Empire space. That is all I have today. I'm going to make it a short day and take off, but I want to thank you guys for showing up, and we will see you next time on Talking in Stations Eve 2020. Let's see if we can find someone to raid. Ooh, plenty today. Let's go with our buddy Torvald. He's doing some stuff. Enjoy, and we will see you tomorrow.